Why on earth did this guy think it was a good idea to drive straight into a raging river? So many questions, but mostly concerned for the car. Imagine waking up to the sound of water, not from a tap or the rain, but from an unstoppable force creeping into your home. In mere moments, your entire world is submerged, and everything you've worked for is now afloat in chaos. How does a river, something we often admire for its beauty, turn into an unstoppable wave of destruction? Why, in 2024, has nature unleashed its fury on Poland, leaving towns drowned and lives upturned? Let's dive deep into this catastrophe and understand the unfolding disaster. This is the story of how, in September 2024, Poland faced one of the most devastating floods in its history. It started in the small yet historically rich Klodzko County, located in the southwest of the country. What began as heavy rainfall soon escalated into a life-threatening deluge, with local rivers breaking their banks and swallowing entire communities. Authorities had issued warnings, but even with the alerts, some residents, believing they were safe, stayed behind. By the time the water came crashing in, many found themselves trapped in their own homes. Among the hardest-hit areas was the town of Klodzko, with over 1,600 people evacuated, but not everyone made it to safety. Poland wasn't alone. The flooding affected neighboring countries, each facing its own share of tragedy. But what was it about this storm that brought such widespread havoc to Central Europe? Let's start with the source. Storm Boris. Storm Boris, a meteorological phenomenon that began its journey over the North Atlantic, made its way south, bringing with it torrential rains. These rains, lasting for days, pushed the region's rivers past their limits. The town of Klodzko, home to 25,000 people, was left partially submerged. Entire streets became canals, and homes, once sturdy and secure, were now engulfed by the rising waters. But it wasn't just Klodzko. In Głuszolazy, the Biała River swelled beyond recognition, while across the Czech border, the city of Krnov was nearly 80% underwater. Thousands of people were displaced, clinging to hope as rescue teams worked tirelessly to save those stranded in their homes. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk addressed the nation on Sunday, confirming the first casualty, one person who tragically drowned in Klodzko County. His words echoed the somber reality. The situation is still very dramatic in many places, but some residents underestimate the threat and refuse to evacuate. The Prime Minister urged for caution, as more rain was expected. A state of disaster was declared, with Poland seeking aid from the European Union. A grim reflection of how severe the situation had become. Rescue operations were launched immediately, with emergency teams braving the flooded streets to save families, pets, and anyone left behind. Some residents had chosen to stay, either out of fear of looters or a belief that the worst wouldn't reach them. But by the time they realized the true scale of the threat, it was too late. Authorities urged evacuations in Moszczanka and Laka Prudnica, fearing that a dam breach could lead to catastrophic flooding. And it wasn't just the rising water that posed a threat. Landslides, collapsing buildings, and submerged power lines created additional dangers, making rescue missions even more perilous. Among those affected was Sofia Basalic, a social worker from the southeastern Romanian village of Peceea. Though Romania wasn't hit as hard as Poland, the flooding still wreaked havoc. "I have nothing left," she told reporters. Gushes of water tore through her home, destroying appliances and tragically killing her farm animals. In a similar vein, Gika Stan, a factory worker, was left with nothing but the clothes on his back. His house was swallowed by the floodwaters, and now he relies on the kindness of others just to survive. These personal stories bring the reality of the disaster into sharp focus. Behind the numbers, behind the headlines, are real people, families who have lost everything. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay prepared, and as always, subscribe to our channel for more updates on world events.